Hey guys, today's video is going to be a book review of The Pursuit of William Abbey by Claire North. Now, I've done a lot of Claire North books, I've reviewed a lot of them, and I've enjoyed, I think, all of them? Apart from maybe one of them, but that was just a bit real at the time that I was reading it. The Pursuit of William Abbey is about a man who gets cursed in the waning days of the British Empire, and then has to deal with this curse and the crimes that the British Empire has committed in its colonial history. That's pretty much the main gist of the story, to be honest. The Pursuit of William Abbey is pretty much a standard good Claire North book. It's got an interesting magic system, it's got a lot of themes with the whole evils of empire and colonization and just truth in general. There's a whole host of things that it picks apart with these whole ideas, and it does it really quite well. It's, as I say, a pretty standard Claire North book. She does explore these things very well on this particular sort of thing. One particularly fascinating note that comes up a few times in the book is that you can only know who you are through the eyes of another. And this is quite literal in the book, but it is still an interesting theme because we all have our own truths and stuff, and we all hold them in different ways, and we all look at different things particularly differently. That made not much sense, but I'm sticking with it. Another thing that I found particularly noteworthy in the book was the fact that William was already broken in the beginning of it, but as he progressed through his life and the rest of the whole, well, story in general, he became more and more shattered, and yet also in some ways more and more whole in that. It was weird. It's almost like ice compressing into a more pure form of ice. Snow, ice, whatever, you know what I mean. Now, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but there was a very interesting reference to basically every other Claire North book that she's put out in this book, and I found it quite amusing because they're like, oh, we investigate all of the different weird supernatural phenomena, and then there's like, oh, we investigate people that live their lives over and over again, we investigate people who move between other people with a touch, and da 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 da. And I'm like, oh, that's just literally every other book. That's all the books, and yeah, it was quite funny, but it was a little bit like sticking head up own ass a little bit, but it was still entertaining. Now, I wouldn't say that this book was absolutely perfect. It did have some flaws, and the main one that I was noticing was that it was a standard Claire North book in a lot of ways. This is good in a lot of ways because it's a marker of quality, but at the same time it does follow a lot of the same tropes that she does use quite a lot, and if you've read as many as I have, then it's it does get a little bit like repetitive to a certain extent. Her style of prose does sort of run into itself sometimes, but as I said, marker of quality, and it does just kind of shake you a little bit. Another flaw that I felt that this book had was that the world felt very connected in a way that I honestly wasn't certain that it really was in history. So it's set over the course of the end of the 19th and start of the 20th century, and it does feel just a lot more connected already than it would until later, but then maybe that's just my own skewed perceptions, or just the meant to be part of the plot, because it is the fact that modernization is happening is a noteworthy plot point, quite frankly. It does serve the story, but at the same time you're also feeling like some of this doesn't quite fit particularly well, but it does work pretty well in general. So I think that that's all the thoughts that I had on this book. I think that it's a good book. It does have some minor flaws, but in general, I enjoyed it. I would love to know what you thought of this book, so let me know in the comments down below if you've already read it, and if not, let me know when you have read it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and that you remember to like and share it, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the thumbnails over there to see other videos by me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!